So where all the fish go? Have you seen them? You know, this is so frustrating, I swear. You know, a guy could pull all his hair out trying to find them stinking fish. You know what? Oh, great. Stinking catfish, I swear. So why on God's green earth would you want a YouTube channel? And what in the world would possess you to have a fishing YouTube channel, of all things? Of all things. Well, there's some good things about YouTube channels and some great things about fishing YouTube channels. Okay, I gotta say. But let's talk a little bit about the reality of this, and then I can tell you some of the good things, okay? Because there are some good things, and there are some real things that you really need to realize. The truth is, anybody can have a YouTube channel. I mean, if you've got a smartphone or some kind of camera that you can download the internet, a digital camera, you can have a YouTube channel. And if you're struggling with it, best advice I got for you is go find you a teenager. They probably got a YouTube channel, and they can help you set up the details of the YouTube channel. That's probably the hardest part, is setting it up and knowing what buttons to press. You know, I've got several grandchildren, and I kind of got talked into a YouTube channel, more or less. And then they had to help me because I couldn't do it, get it set up. But it's interesting. They have these YouTube channels on crazy things. They put a little effort to it, and they got thousands and thousands of views, and not thousands, hundreds of subscribers. And they don't work all that hard at it. And I'm working hard at it, and it just doesn't come that easy. So my channel is specifically about fishing, and about 95% is catfishing, or things to do with catfishing. But I do love fishing, any kind of fishing. I just love catfishing, but I like fly fishing, I like bass fishing, I like fishing for bluegills with a bobber. If it's fishing, I like it. So in the fishing realm, in the fishing niche, they call it niche. I used to think it was niche. It's niche. The fishing topic. There are a few who got good results. They have many, many thousands of views for every time they make a video. And those people who are doing that are making a living doing this. And they get to quit their day job and go fishing almost every day. And probably the days they're not fishing, they're probably editing. It is possible to make money doing this. Now, the ones that are very successful, if you look very closely at them and go back, they've been doing this for 10 to 15 years. And I don't know if it's what it takes to really get profitable 10 to 15 years, but they're pretty good at what they do. And I kind of think that's the difference. But being good at what you do and longevity really helps to get a following. So let's talk about the reality of having a fishing channel. Reality number one, you got to go fishing. That's a given if you're going to have a fishing channel, correct? Well, when you're out there and you go fishing, you need to catch fish. If you don't catch fish, not much of a fishing channel, is it? And sometimes the fish aren't biting. In fact, a lot of times the fish aren't biting. Now, what I find is sometimes I just can't get on the fish or find the fish. There are times, especially springtime, where I'm at, the fish aren't there. And normally I can see them on the fish finder, the big cats. It's pretty obvious. But lately, it's hit and miss. The next problem I got is bait. If you're in the catfish world, you need the proper bait. And basically you're catching fresh bait. Shad, bluegill, things like this. Crappie. Shh, I didn't say crappie. Don't tell any crappie fishermen that. They don't appreciate it. But you got to have the right bait. And you got to have the bait that the fish want at the right time. And that changes. So first you got to find the fish. Second, you got to get the bait. Third, you got to get the right bait, right? Now, people who fish in catfish tournaments, you know what they do? They go 2-3 days early and they scout the fish out. So they'll find the fish. They'll find where the bait is. They'll catch the bait, go make sure the bait works for the fish, and they'll be ready for, day one of the tournament. So now we're at go fishing, find the fish, find the bait, get the bait, hopefully it's right, and put it in front of the fish, and hopefully you catch some fish if they're hungry. It's easier said than done sometimes. So reality number 2. Let's say you can catch a fish. You're on them. Well, now you catch a fish. Now you got to get the video camera on the fish that you're catching and film the whole thing. That is not as easy as it sounds. So you got to get the camera on at the right time. It's got to be pointed in the right direction, right distance, the right light. If you're looking into the sun and it's a bright day, it washes it all out. So ideally you got several camera angles just for that, and you need to get the video of the action. Now, if you're fishing in a kayak, it's much, much easier because you're in a smaller contained area, and the cameras can pick up much more. So a couple cameras on a kayak's a piece of cake, and you can about get everything. In a boat, a little bit different. You're more spread out, more area. It's harder to get that camera pointed at the pole that's catching the fish. So in theory, you may take more cameras if you're fishing on a boat to get the action so that you don't miss it. But there's still one more problem. Let's say we got the bait, we got the fish, we caught the fish, we get it videoed. That's great. Well, guess what? Wind's blowing 25 miles an hour, and all you hear is this whooshing noise of the wind. That's not going to work. So now you got to block the wind from the mic on the camera because you got to have a good soundtrack. This is all getting pretty highly technical, isn't it? Like I said, it's just not as easy as it sounds, and all I really want to do is go fishing and catch some fish. This is turning out to be a fiasco. Okay, let's assume, again, you got the bait, you got the fish, you got it videoed, you got a good soundtrack, the wind is manageable. Even in Kansas, the wind blows in Kansas a lot, so we really had to watch that. If you don't believe me, just go ask Dorothy. She'll tell you all about it, the wind in Kansas. But we got a good soundtrack now. Now, you know what's next? Now you got to edit. Editing's okay, but you better have time. And that's all I got to say about that. You need time. It's that simple. So you've done all this. You got your videos made. You put them out there. You're getting views. YouTubers are all focusing on the same goal in the beginning. And that goal is to get 1,000 subscribers, to get 4,000 hours watched, okay, hours, and to do this in 365 days. It's not easy. I can tell you right now, it's not easy. Now, if you're able to pull this off, you get monetized. You can start making pennies. But if you get a lot of views, these pennies add up. And that's the idea. If you can hit a video that gets 20, 30,000 views and rack some hours up, you can start making a little pocket change. And with this pocket change, you've got some money. You can go replace equipment that doesn't float, that you dropped in the water, that's down at the bottom of the lake. Ask me how I know. Enough of the bad, right? Let's talk about the good. Here we go. This is the enjoyable part, right? On this YouTube journey, you are going to learn a lot, more than you ever desired. You're going to be stretched in ways you never thought possible. And you're going to get new skills. And the better you accomplish these skills, the more views you're going to get. You're also going to become a better fisherman. You're going to become a student of catching fish. And you're going to do your research. You're going to study whatever it takes, the new methods to catch fish. And you're going to get better at it, I guarantee you. Well, for 36 years, me and my wife, we had a small business. We had a small heating and air conditioning company. It was small. And we probably averaged 3 to 6 or so employees. So we're a pretty small business. And the things that we did in business is very similar to the things you're going to do if you get a YouTube channel. You're going to start thinking like a business person. I'm surprised at the thought processes and things I think about in this YouTube. Things are very similar to how I thought in business. It's strikingly the same. If you're a person who's always wanted to have your own business, but just never could pull it off, I would highly recommend that you start a YouTube channel, because this really is a business. Now, the other thing you need to think about, and it's very possible you could be very successful at this if you work hard enough. Now, businesses in the first 2 years have an enormous amount of them that fail. Pretty high number of businesses that fail in the first 2 years. If you were to happen to fail at YouTube, guess what? You don't go bankrupt. You might lose a little money on equipment, but you're not going bankrupt. Not from that. And that's the beauty of it. If you start making money off of a task that you complete, that makes you a business. And if you have expenses towards that money-making process in a business, that is tax deductible according to the IRS. So in theory, if you're making money, income, and you're going to get a W-2 for it or whatever from YouTube in the end each year, and you have expenses against that, they're all tax deductible. Think about it. How about that new fishing pole? Or whatever. Kind of interesting. You can take this as far as you want. I'd suggest if you really make money, you get with a CPA and see how far you can take it, because it's all legit. So why in the world would you ever want a YouTube channel? I can think of two main reasons. One, or the first one, it is a huge challenge to get it profitable. Huge undertaking. And with the possibility of huge rewards, that I can tell you, I love huge challenges. I love a good challenge. But number two, and the most important reason why you want to start a YouTube channel, because I can. That's it. Because I can. Well, we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it.